Have you ever noticed that survival isn't enough for us? We can have food, water, and shelter, yet still feel an emptiness deep inside. Why? Because humans don't just live, we search for meaning. And when life feels meaningless, even success can taste like failure, and comfort can feel like a cage. Throughout history, one truth has echoed across time. Human beings crave purpose. From the wisdom of ancient philosophers to the studies of modern psychologists, meaning has always been central to our well-being. Viktor Frankl, the psychiatrist and Holocaust survivor, once said, "Those who have a why to live can bear almost any how." In the darkest of times, he observed that people who found purpose could endure unimaginable suffering, while those who lost meaning often gave up hope. And here's the paradox. Even in today's world of comfort and abundance, millions still struggle. Not because they lack resources, but because they lack direction. So why is meaning so essential to the human mind? And what happens when we lose it? Think about the moments when life felt richest. Maybe it was holding your child for the first time. Maybe it was working late into the night on a project that mattered to you. Maybe it was staying by a loved one's side when they needed you most. In those moments, you weren't just living, you were living for something. Love, passion, and commitment created a thread of meaning that made even the hardest sacrifices worthwhile. Love is one of the purest mirrors of purpose. When we care deeply for someone, our own existence suddenly feels more valuable. We wake up earlier, we work harder, we fight through difficulties. Not because we want to, but because it matters. Meaning, in this sense, is the invisible thread that ties us to others, to our goals, and to the future we hope to create. But here's the problem. Modern life often strips away meaning. We live in an age of endless distraction. Social media bombards us with highlight reels of other people's lives. Consumer culture tells us that happiness lies in possessions. Hustle culture insists that our worth depends on productivity. And yet, when people chase wealth, fame, or status, they often discover a bitter truth. These things don't fill the void. You can reach the top, achieve recognition, and still feel an emptiness gnawing at you. Psychologists call this the meaning crisis. Despite living in safer, wealthier societies than ever before, rates of depression, anxiety, and burnout continue to climb. Why? Because survival without purpose feels like wandering in darkness. The German philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche warned of this long ago. He said, "He who has a why to live can bear almost any how, but without a why, even the how of daily life becomes unbearable." That's why burnout isn't just caused by working hard, it comes from working without meaning. And this crisis doesn't just affect individuals, it affects entire societies. When shared values collapse, when communities dissolve, when traditions vanish without being replaced, people feel unmoored. Loneliness spreads, polarization deepens, and the sense of belonging fades. We crave meaning, but often search for it in shallow places, in likes, followers, money, or comparison. And when those fail us, we're left adrift. The deepest crisis comes when meaning is shattered. Imagine losing someone you love dearly. Imagine your career, something you've poured decades into, suddenly vanishing. Imagine realizing that the belief system you've trusted your entire life no longer makes sense to you. In those moments, the story of your life feels broken. Psychologists call this an existential vacuum, a state of inner emptiness where life feels stripped of direction. When people fall into this vacuum, they often turn to unhealthy substitutes. Some drown themselves in endless entertainment. Others numb themselves with addictions. Some cling to destructive ideologies, desperate for belonging and certainty. It's terrifying, but it reveals a profound truth. Meaning is not a luxury. It is oxygen for the soul. But here's the turning point. Unlike happiness, which comes and goes, meaning is something we can create. We are, at our core, storytellers. We don't just live, we narrate our lives. And when one story ends, as painful as it may be, we can begin to write another. This was Viktor Frankl's discovery in the concentration camps. Even in a place where almost everything was taken away, people who gave themselves a reason to keep living, to see a loved one again, to finish a book, to help another prisoner survive one more day, had a greater chance of survival. The climax of the human story is this realization. Meaning isn't handed to us. It's something we must build, again and again, even in the darkest times. So how do we build it? Psychology suggests 3 powerful pathways. 1. Connection. Meaning grows in relationships. Supporting others, building bonds, belonging to a community. These things give our lives direction. A shared laugh, a deep conversation, even simply showing up for someone can anchor us. Humans are wired for connection, and without it, meaning fades. 2. Contribution. Purpose is found when we give, not just when we take. Work, creativity, and service become meaningful when they contribute to something larger than ourselves. Think of the teacher shaping young minds, the artist painting a vision of truth, or the volunteer giving time to a cause. Contribution transforms effort into legacy. 3. Growth. Struggle itself can create meaning. Every obstacle we overcome, every lesson we learn, every scar we carry, these shape our story. Growth gives suffering a purpose, turning pain into wisdom. But here's the most liberating insight. Meaning doesn't always come from grand, heroic acts. It can be found in small, everyday moments. Cooking dinner for your family, helping a stranger, learning a new skill, even pausing to appreciate a sunset. Philosophy reminds us that meaning isn't hiding somewhere out there, waiting to be discovered. It emerges in the choices we make daily. Every action, no matter how small, is a brushstroke on the canvas of a purposeful life. And the beautiful paradox is this: you don't need to chase happiness directly. Focus on building meaning, and happiness often follows naturally. So why do humans crave meaning? Because it's the glue that holds our lives together. Without it, even comfort feels empty. With it, even pain can feel valuable. If you're feeling lost, remember, purpose doesn't have to be massive. Start small. Help someone. Learn something new. Write a single page. Plant a seed. Act as if your life matters, and slowly, it will. The search for meaning is not a burden. It's a gift. It's the very thing that makes us human. And in the next video, we'll dive into another deep question. Why do we fear change? We'll explore the psychology of uncertainty, the hidden cost of comfort, and why transformation feels so threatening, even when it's good for us. Because meaning may give us direction, but change is the road we must walk.